Hello, folks. Going well tonight, aren't we? Had a little bit of a computer failure, I think is the best way of describing what's happened over the last week or two, and spent the weekend trying to make that a little bit better. Consequently, the setup has changed somewhat, and I'm currently using two screens, but they're one above the other. So getting my hand used to moving to right to left to a second screen, it's just doing my head in. So I beg your pardon. And if you see me looking up, it's because the screen up here is much bigger than the one down here where the camera is. So I'm finding it a lot easier to read your comments and all that sort of stuff on that screen with my tired old eyes. Say hello to a few folks. As always, Paul got in early. Thanks, mate, and thank you for your help. Paul's been assisting me in something else recently, so I just wanted to do a big shout out to him and his lovely wife, who took a bit of a drive and offered a bit of advice and helped out a mate. So thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate that. Also, hello, Aussie Sue. Hope Mount Isa is going well. Hey, might have news for you if you're interested. You might have to help us, but we'll see what happens. Melissa, evening to you too, darling. Darren, Mark's in the room. Keefe, I saw. The Roy's back in town. Who else have I popped in? DM is here. Dave, oh, yes, Dave's already been down and downloaded the document we're going to have a bit of a look at tonight. And if you haven't done it, I commend you to do that, folks. Go and have a look at VoFHQ.com. There is a link in the description here. You can just click on it and it'll take you straight to it. But if you go to VoFHQ.com, look across the top of the menu files there and you'll see one that says criminal trial, something like that. Download that document. It's going to take a little while for you to read, but as Dave-O pointed out, I'm just trying to find his comment so I can show you. Yeah, okay, a decode on it. That sounds good. That sounds good, mate. There it is. So he's had a bit of a look. Many a late night, yeah. And I said, oh, well, yeah, no doubt you do have it in you. But will be very interesting to see what sort of a decode can be done on it, Dave. Anyway, I'll get into that in just a moment. So got a little bit of news. This week, I'm really not sure, particularly towards the end of the week, what sort of shows, or if in fact I will be able to do a show at all. This is potentially from Wednesday night onwards. It is because I'm going north and I'm heading back to Cairns, but it's a fly-in, fly-out trip. And I'm meeting up with some people. We're looking forward to putting together some shows in far north Queensland in the very near future. So if you're interested, then I can tell you that I have a little bit of a list here. And when I say we, I'm talking about John Wilson and myself. We're going to come on a road trip. Could be fun. I might want to get out sometime before Gympie. He may want to get out before the Sunshine Coast. We'll just see how it works out. But we're thinking Gympie, Childers, Rocky, Yeppoon, Proserpine and Airlie. Now, Neil, I think you're in the chat. So we'll come back to Prosy or Airlie, mate, do a show there. Townsville, Ingham. We're going to catch up with Skipper Pete, and who's bragging. And I haven't downloaded your fish photos, Pete. I should have done that. I apologise. But I will get him on a show before I leave. Skipper Pete's been out to the reef. He's caught fish, I'd show you, but they're that big. Very nice. You've made an old pirate, very, very, very jealous. So he's looking forward to catching up with you. Cairns. Now, Eva and who else do I know in Cairns? There's a few folks nowadays. Victoria is up there. She might be working now. I'm busy with the kids. But Eva, you've got my number. Get in touch. Let's see if we can't get a little venue together and start putting something together in Cairns, so you don't have to travel up at the hill again. And Lee and the rest of the team up on the hill in Tolga and Mariba, we might have to get you to come down, or potentially we can stop in at the Tolga pub. Bloody good feed. Always stop in at the Tolga pub and catch up again on the way back. It will be an up and back sort of a drive. So that's the deal. We will go further north to Cooktown as well. And Rhonda, I'll be in touch. And it's going to be a pretty free-flowing sort of a trip. I don't know what sort of a trip it's going to be. It's going to be fun, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to go up, do a couple of things with some people in far north Queensland this week. I will have some video to show you next week when I get back. But the places that I am going on, well, potentially Wednesday night, but Thursday, Friday, and at least part of Saturday, there will be no kind of mobile reception or anything unless I take Starlink with me. And it's not one of those sort of trips where I'm taking up a whole heap of gear. So I can't take Starlink with me on the plane. So it's just me. I will endeavour to try and get something put up at various different times. And throughout Wednesday, while I still have coverage, I'll introduce you to my host and give you a bit of an idea of what we're up to. But that'll be Wednesday once I get into Cairns. So expect a fair bit of content. But if you are watching on Rumble, you won't see it. If you're watching on Facebook, you probably won't see it. The way that my phone works is it goes straight to YouTube, and I might be able to, I'm not sure if my Rumble account is set up on the phone to go live off the phone to Rumble. If it is, I'll do a one to Rumble as well. But if you follow the Nun2K channel on YouTube, then I will do lives on that from very early on Wednesday morning, and I'll let you know what we're up to and where we're going exactly and what we're doing over the next couple of days. I'll be back on Sunday. Probably won't have a show Sunday night. I think I'll be knackered, but Monday we'll be back into it, all guns blazing. For those folks who were interested in QSI, before I move off that, so yes, the trip with John, we're talking about late this month. So if you want to have us pop by your part of the world, we would love to do it. Please email me, carl@vofhq.com, or you can email Vince at vofhq.com. It's probably better if you email him to me. Vince is a very busy man and he does his own business, but he does help us a great deal. And I believe a couple of you have been in contact with him to help with a few things, and he's graciously done so. So he's just that kind of bloke. Wonderful man, but don't put him under too much pressure, folks. He's doing everything he can for everybody, and he can't do it all for nothing. So I really appreciate that you've taken him into the family so well. It's great, and I get so many emails coming to me in comments through the various different feeds about the great work that he's doing for us. So I couldn't agree more. I'd be lost without him. He's a marvelous, marvelous man. And tonight he's going to Mount Barker and doing a talk on my place. After last Friday night, of course, he was in Port Adelaide. Mount Barker tonight in the Adelaide Hills, Mount Barker and Harndorf, my place. Now, if you haven't been to Harndorf, folks, and you don't mind a bit of German beer, bit of German sausage, bit of German cuckoo clocks, you'll be hard-pressed to find a better place in Australia to get a taste of Germany than Harndorf in the Adelaide Hills. So that's where he's at tonight, Mount Barker, Harndorf. Introductory meeting, if you like, for what's going on with my place, and bloody great. That he's there. He's doing a fabulous job in South Australia already. I think we're up to 8 or 9 in South Australia. So, yeah, very, very cool stuff. So if you are interested in getting John and I'll probably be driving up for a chat. We're going to stop at any bend in the road that is required. And by the looks of it, we might be doing it in a motorhome, a bit of a camper. So that's why I keep looking at you sideways and saying, it's going to be an interesting drive. But look, what is it? It's only 4,000 kilometres return. We'll be all right. We know each other quite well by then, I would imagine. So anyway, that's the plan, Jan. If you're interested in having a stop in your part of the world, contact me, carl@vofhq.com. And we will put that together. Of course, we're going to be pushing the log of claims while we come up. You want to talk about the log of claims? That's what John's very interested in discussing. Me too. And we'll be able to set you guys up for discussions with log of claims, and I'll be able to go outside and do a show off the deck somewhere. That'll work. You guys, if you want to have that happen, carl@vofhq.com. What else have I got here? White hats. Righto, folks. White hats. Now, I sent an email. I was wondering why nobody had replied. And if you have been waiting for an email from me for a while and haven't received something, I beg your indulgence. Somehow in this computer changeover over the weekend, we've discovered a pile of emails that have not been sent for some reason. And we can't actually figure out why, because the email account seems to be working, but it doesn't want to send any of those particular emails out. And one of those emails was a block email to everybody who had so far wanted or expressed an interest in buying a white hat to help our Freedom family member get some medical treatment. And I had replied to say, great, listen, got the hats, got the bags, got everything that's required. Now I just need your address and the payment. And that email has been sitting in that outbox, I don't know for how long, but a while. So my apologies. Thank you to those folks who've seen the one that I've sent out. And if you would like to buy a white hat and you haven't got one already, then just email me, carl@vofhq.com. The hats are $30 for one. I think we're doing $60 for two and $75 for three. I want to say that's how it's working. So email will set you up with a payment method, and all the money is going back to her and being able to raise some badly needed funds for her ongoing medical treatment. And she's a big person in our family, so want to support her as strongly as possible. I've still got, look, I want to say I've probably got 50 odd hats left, so there might be a bit more than that now that I think about it. There's 3 boxes, so I might have a few more than that, but anything you could do would be gratefully accepted. I see Michelle Bradley Smith is in the house. Michelle, if I'm not mistaken, you are up in Childers or up that way. We'd love to stop in Childers, try some of that fresh produce and the peanuts. I've been wanting to stop and check out the peanut van for quite some while, and people won't be at all shocked, and nor will I be surprised to hear the jokes that will come out of that. All right, now, think I've told you about everything I wanted to tell you about. Let's get into what is one of the strangest documents I think that it's ever come across my desk. And I read quite a lot of this over the weekend. Now, it looks very long and involved. Once you gain the essence of what each individual thing is saying, you really only need to take note of who they're addressing those comments to. So that's probably a really weird thing to try and understand now. So let's try and understand it together, shall we? Now, I need to bring up the document for me here somewhere. Hang on. Bring this bloody mouse back over onto my screen. Yeah, going very well. I'll find it. Sorry, we'll get there. See, the thing about it is, I know I've got it on a open document somewhere, and I don't think I need to have that up anymore. We've figured out that that one's working, so I don't need that anymore. Well, that's a bit weird. Now it's going to tell me it's underneath this big screen that I've got here, and it's not. All right, let me just stop my screen share for one moment and bring it back up. Marvels of modern technology, hey? All right. Right. It's here. I'll get there. Probably the easiest way to do it is to go to the website. All right, I'll click on that. So yeah, just go to VoFHQ.com, go across to criminal trial, and you will be able to see this document yourself. Now, I'll just bring it up. Finally, there we go. Bang. Now then. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Now, that's probably one of the weirdly named documents that I've ever seen. In the highest court of the God of all creations. I'm not going to even begin to try and pronounce that. Ancient days. But that means something. All right, this means something. I haven't been able to dig too deeply into that yet. I haven't done really a great deal of research, and I preface everything that I say about this document with the fact that I don't know who wrote it, I don't know when they wrote it, and I don't know who is using it. But I'm very keen to find out answers to those questions if it is in fact being used. So starting at the top, it was put out January the 6th, 2022. What an interesting day. The numbers are interesting here. In the docket number, DLHC.777.888.3. I'm not into gematria. Maybe there's somebody out there amongst you who is. And if that is the case, love to hear from you. I might be able to blow this up a bit bigger for you because it is going to get a little weird. Right. This is a criminal trial. Divine Light Holy Council, that's who's holding it, the courts of heaven prosecutors. All of God's creator's creations which are in service to him, known as your people, versus the accused defendants and enemies named herein. They quote a passage from Daniel. As I looked, thrones were set in place, and the Ancient Days took his seat. His clothing was as white as snow. The hair of his head was as white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire, and its wheels were all ablaze. A river of fire was flowing, coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was seated, and the books were opened. That seems like quite an ominous reading to begin this document with, but it's very apt. The criminal court trial of the highest heavenly realm is now in session and in camera. Now, for those people who do not know what in camera means, if you have a court session in camera, it means it is not public. It is behind closed doors. It is a secret hearing. So we have heard stories. I just want you to think back. We have heard stories of indictments, secret indictments, and closed hearings held in camera. This is what we're referring to with military trials. The question I have, and we're not going to read all the way through this document. I'm going to try and give you an idea of how you can read through it. And you don't have to read every word in it because a lot of them are the same words. Really, the tops of the paragraphs are the ones to read. They're the bits that change. And that will be the defendants in most cases, and in some cases the charges, or the way that they're going to hear them. This document, as far as I can tell from what I've read, and I've read a reasonable amount of it in chunks, different areas. I've jumped to and fro. I haven't started at the start and ended at the end. But the entire document appears to me to lay out both the court, the prosecutor, and the terms of any prosecution heard in that court, the laws that the court operates under. Okay, and this is very important to understand, because in this document you will find they're discussing what we currently know as a court or judicial system, and that isn't recognized in this. This is, if this is a real document, and I say that if this is a real document, then this document lays out how every bastard on this earth, every evil motherfucker, is going to be tried. It also names many of them. It names, if it doesn't name people directly, it names them as working with or working under instruction from. So anybody, and this gets down to our local street level, anybody who's been doing evil and can be traced to it is going down and will be tried under what I believe will be this system here, which is aptly named at the top, the Divine Light Holy Council, Courts of Heaven Prosecutors, held under an ancient days trial system based on the God of all creation, in the highest court of the God of all creations. So it doesn't matter who you think God is, it is the highest court of the God of all creations. That doesn't just mean human, that means animal, maybe vegetable, mineral too, who knows. All right, so let's just scroll back down and get into this. I'll read a little bit more for you. The sealed oral indictment, in the number there, on October 20, 2001, is to be included as evidence for this trial, as it was presented in camera to this court with additions. And this trial is to also include all information, testimonies, and witness statements presented herein. The ancient days request, pending the final outcome of judgments for this trial, that the defendants' timelines be frozen on all locations as defined, and to include all activities by the defendants as known by this High Court, so that no further breaches and crimes may be committed by the defendants. Now, I've highlighted on all locations because they're talking about timelines being frozen on all locations. Interesting. We further request that through your divine and holy grace, that you put in place and make ready all societal constructs and architecture on NP 3D Earth, so that as your judgments are rendered, your people may experience an easy transition to your divine plan. Your people, all of God Creator's creations, which are in service of Him. That is what your people means in this document. All of God Creator's creations, which are in service to Him. On behalf of all living beings on our planet Earth, in our Milky Way galaxy and our universe, that are in agreement and in service to the one living true God of all creation, and in representation with your permission, to uphold and stand for the integrity, intent, love, light, compassion, and laws of God's original creations. All right? Remember how we've been saying this is a battle of good and evil? God versus the devil? This is the court they judge it in. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, we need to research it. I've done a couple of little searches on it this evening. I was pushed for time. And there are some references to it on Patriots pages and this sort of thing. I think it's going to become more important in the near future. Otherwise known in this trial as your people, the prosecutors, versus the enemies and defendants. This is where it gets interesting. The false darkness, demonics, the Holy See, cabal, negative alien agenda, negative alien Archon group, negative non-terrestrials et al., the Crown Corporation, the City of London, the Crown Agency of the British Empire, Inner Temple, Crown agents oversee government and administration, Crown Council of 13, Vatican City, City of London, and the District of Columbia, the three self-declared sovereign countries on Earth, and all corporations, organizations, foundations, groups, and individuals et al. Are associated with them. Satan and the 12 apostles of Satan, antichrists all, thought forms of the antichrists and negative spirits under Lucifer et al., unclean evil spirits, Babylonian systems, Babylonian brotherhood, all principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this age, Nephilim, archangel archons, seraphim. We haven't even talked about seraphim yet. They're fallen angels and archangels that have fallen from God the Creator. Billions of fallen ascended masters, interlockers, the Watchers, Council of 9 Mothers of Darkness, satanic witches and warlocks, proxy groups, Mobius Corporation, Umbrella Corporation, Monarch Corp, Shore House Corporation. Look, you can go through all of these at your leisure, but I have looked through a ton. Well, and I have researched and gone to try and dig in on a few of these. Now, here It lists the Order of the Garter, the Illuminati, Freemasons, male and female Freemasons, including all Grand Masters, CEOs of Masonic lodges, all high level 32 and above, Grand Orient Masonic Order, Scottish Rite, York Rite, Knights of the Masonic Knights Templar, the Rosicrucian Order, the Committee of 300 et al. They are going for and naming absolutely friggin' everyone in this document. Everyone that has been involved with this unbelievable fraud and crime that has been perpetrated against we the people. God's people, God creator's people, according to this document. And, well, you know, let's have a look. The Mossad, Zionists, Bohemian Grove, the Club of Rome, the Grand Druid Council, the Jason Society. Where it gets really interested is it's not just these groups, it's anybody associated with them. And bear in mind, all these secret groups and all these little groups have very, very, very good administration. They know exactly. They keep details of who you are. In a lot of cases, they keep a sample of your blood, so it's pure. You know, they can trace your bloodline. And it's all going to send them to jail. Have a look down the bottom here. Catholic Church, the black, the grey, and the white Pope. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of the three popes, the black, the white, and the grey. Very interesting that they are named. The magisterium of the Roman Catholic Church. It's interesting that it's called the magisterium. That includes all cardinals and bishops, superior generals, superiors of Catholic religious orders in alliance with the defendants, Jesuits, Jesuit Brotherhood, Illuminati, Swiss Guard, all Catholic orders, organizations, and associations in alliance with the defendants, the Church of AI, Sisters of ISIS, Rosalind Chapel. That'll be one to go back to. Rosalind Chapel ring a bell with anyone? I haven't got a screen up where I can see you chatting at the moment. Hang on. If you're a Dan Brown lover, Rosalind Chapel might ring a bell. It was one of the chapels, one of the last ones, in fact, where they thought they would find the Ark of the Covenant in the Da Vinci Code. And it actually exists. They used this Rosalind Chapel in the movie. So interesting. And if you think about what the Da Vinci Code is all about, the fact that Tom Hanks is in it. Anyway, corporations created by the defendants. This is who we're going after, right? This is who this document is referring to and who will be brought before this particular court to stand trial. Corporations created by the defendants, including all CEOs, boards of managers, boards of directors, management, in alliance with the defendants, non-profit and tax-exempt entities allied with the enemy, the cabal, the deep state orders and actors, all affiliates, including Western fascists in power, as known by this court and unknown by us. Walt Disney, Roy Disney, Walt Disney Co., Multinational Mass Media Corp., Lucasfilms, Marvel Entertainment, Walt Disney Motion Pictures, Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney World Resort, Disney Parks, Experiences and Products, Magic Kingdom, Walt Disney World Resort, Club 33. Thank God. And the Order of Demole, of course. All of George Soros's affiliates, right? And here you are. The New York, well, here are a lot of those, but these will go on. The stock exchange, worldwide stock markets, Wall Street, London. Everywhere. And look at the banks. Look at the hedge funds. It just is all ongoing. And you wonder why the financial market might be suffering a bit at the moment. Because if this truly is what I believe it to be, and we haven't got to the juicy part yet, we're at page 5 of 217. It's basically outlining who they're coming for here at the moment. Yeah, look, Wendy's, Whole Food Market, Tesla Corporation. There'll be a lot of you happy to see that. Bioenergy, I did see that that his little brain company too was Neurogenics is lined up too, but that might be under another heading. Vanguard, Lincolnton Iron Company, Wendy's, Starbucks. Wonder what's in your food, folks. You know how we've wondered what's in your food? Where do you think they're going to put it? And how? Wendy's, Wholesale Food Market, Starbucks, Safeway, Molson Coors Brewing, Tyson Foods, Jack in the Box, Tootsie Roll Industries, Panera Bread Company, Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. Makes me wonder what we're drinking. Red Robin Gourmet Burgers, Buffalo Wild Wings, California Pizza Kitchen. There's just all Crown agencies. They are going after all law institutes, uniform. And, you know, this is why I say download this, folks, and have a look at it for yourself, because the names of the companies, the things that are doing, the things that they're doing, if this is a for real document, is it any wonder we've been saying that the world is going to need to come to a grinding halt? If you manage to take out all these people, it's going to come to a grinding halt, all right. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It gets into like educational institutions, MIT, doctors, surgeons, medical regulators, practitioners, technicians, nurses, medical personnel, pharmacists, paramedics, medical aides and specialists. If you think you are going to get away with this, you are wrong. Very wrong. And if you think you are going to get judged in a court as we currently understand it, I wouldn't be so confident. This is an exceptionally detailed document. This is not something some nuffy just writes up and puts out, to stir up the pot. Have a look at the companies that are listed here. It doesn't matter where in the world they are. There's Russian companies, there's Australian companies there. And this is all vaccine related stuff here. In a lot of cases, by the look of it, a lot of health companies in there. Graphene producers. So we've been talking about graphene and how they get it into us. Well, I'm going to show you some stuff with water where you'll be left in no doubt. And, it'll frighten the hell out of you. Fluoride. Of course, we've got a heap of that in our water and so many other things. Manufacturers of toxic clothing and toxic body products. Hasbro, lollies. That's what Hasbro, isn't it? Hasbro lollies. Corning, L'Oreal, Nike, Colgate. Just Facebook, thank God. There's a couple we like seeing. Direct TV Group. Anyway, let me scan down here a bit on... we found it. The bit I was looking for here. New York Times and all publishing houses, all authors intentionally falsifying our history, maths, language, and educational books and historians. The United Parcel Service, FedEx, etc., Virgin Airlines, Pinnacle Airlines, Delta, all being laid up for toxic spraying, right? That is aerosol spraying, chemtrails for those trolls who don't believe they ever happen. That's what this is about. Notice Lockheed Martin are in there too. Amazon, Walmart stores, Payless Shoes, The Gap, Best Buy Company, Lowe's. But the good part is, let's get down to the drug lords, the pushers, the traffickers, the pedophiles, the human farming slaughterhouses, human meat restaurants, owners and distributors, Hilton Hotels, Standard Hotel chain, all hotels involved in human trafficking, stockyards, meat packing plants, airlines and aviation corporations complicit in any crimes against life, casinos, world, state, federal and provincial, social work agencies, child protection agencies, child protective services, Planned Parenthood, transit commissions worldwide that are in alignment with the defendants, all entertainers and sports figures involved with human and child trafficking, Toyota, Ford, General Motors, Caterpillar, John Deere. Now, the Orion Group. This even encompasses the aliens, folks. I mean, I just wonder who would go to the trouble of putting a document like this together if it's not being done for the right reasons. Bear in mind, this isn't laying charges out to anyone at the moment. It is laying out the conditions of the trial. I believe that's what this document is doing, and it is then naming those people and organizations and anyone affiliated with them to let them know, we got you. They're coming. Half astral entities that use biological bodies. We're talking Vril and that sort of thing there. The Builders, the Kurds, the Anunnaki make quite a large appearance a little further down here. Anunnaki, Omicron Draco. There are three different kinds of reptilians. They've got them all here. Negative ant, non-terrestrials, dark mantis in the fifth column, black sun lineages, reptile, insectoid collective. These are the different political groups, by the sound of it, that are inside the, what do we call it, the extraterrestrial side of this war, right? This is where the evil gets its power from or gets its strength from. And they're all, look at this, Loki, black goo. Okay. There's got to be some stuff in here. I mean, like I say, I haven't read every word, but Loki, black goo, artificial life forms, artificial technologies, nanotechnologies, artificial intelligence, operating systems, genetic overlays, otherwise known as SACs or SOCs, bodies that you can put personalities or memories into, spiritual artifact life forms, all negative thought forms related to the above, including corporations and subjects in this list, all malevolent extraterrestrials known by this court, any negative non-extraterrestrials as known by you and unknown by us. That means you might know that there are more, but we don't, but they're covered under this anyway. And when we find them, they will be tried. This is the bit that specifically seems to get into Lucifer and his immediate brethren as they fell. The Chief Justice John Roberts, the Duke of Kent, Carl Anderson, the head of the Knights of Columbus, and the Committee of 300. George Soros, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, Bezos, Branson, Musk, Dorsey, Lord Phillips, Stephen Andrew Green and affiliates, Klaus Schwab, Oprah Winfrey, Ghislaine Maxwell, Tom Hanks, George Clooney, Beyonce, Kanye, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, Ted Turner, Buzz Aldrin, and all the others known by this court. All corporate government agencies worldwide and beyond, all defendants' corporations in Pocket Reality, all other defendants' enemies and their associated thought forms, clones, overlays, doubles, actors, androids et al. They are covering every base. Every base. Bear in mind, we're only at page 12 of 217, and I'm not going to read all more for you. You can already tell the voice is starting to get a bit shaky with it all. But, you know, what are you saying, folks? Well, let me just go and have a bit of a look at some of your comments, because I don't know. It's a pretty wild little bit of paperwork. I received this from somebody who, if you are into the Q movement, you would believe has fairly strong links to the Q or a non-movement. I would more particularly lean towards the Q side rather than the Anon side. So, yeah, this was sent to me. I'm not sure to how many other people. I know there are others who have got it in Australia. And I want to say Beck's got it from Truth Seekers. And there might be one or two others. So it's not just come to me. But it's an amazing document that, well, it does outline why it's taking so long. And I think Sue's just, says it best there. And we have to hide to say, why is it taking so long? Well, you can see why it's taking so long, because quite seriously, this is staggering, the depth that it goes to. And like I say, we are at page 12 of 217. This is an interesting part here. We, the prosecutors, the Divine Light Holy Council, who represent your people, that's us, have been honourably appointed to appear in the capacity of prosecutors by this your heavenly courts. We graciously thank you, our highest and righteous judge, for this appointment as permanent intercessors. We thank this most high court of heaven for the expediency that was awarded to us in the processing of the sealed indictment and warrants for arrests without bail of the accused, dated October the 20th in the year of our Lord 2021. We acknowledge that this court henceforth gave legal notice. We thank this court for now, that's just to say, this paragraph here acknowledges the fact that there are many secret indictments that we have been talking about. Well, I believe we've been talking about them long since before October the 20th, but of 2021, I believe we were talking about them at least a year, if not 2 years before that. But I need to go back and check a few things before I nail myself to that cross. Probably a bad choice of words, given what we're ready. But that's what I think that's referring to. We thank this court for acknowledging our oral request of January 6, 2022, to add the defendants list to all individuals involved in any injustice in the breaking of God Creator's laws as known by this court regarding the death of said patriot in service. We enter the God of all Creator's highest criminal court for this court to start trial proceedings, hear our evidence and charges laid, and render your judgments. We ask that you forgive our sins, heal your people and the lands, and give back your people all that you intended. Chronicles 7-14, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. Ecclesiastes, I think that's how you say it. I said in mine heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. There's also a Seekers song we could start singing. From Romans 6:23, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. We approach your holy throne and give thanks and praise, acknowledging your justice and righteousness. Psalm 104. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Well, that's pretty high praise they've sent there. We bring forward to this trial the named defendants and acknowledge your eternal glory, justice, righteousness, love, and we praise your holy names. This is where it gets a bit weird. On page 13, the one true living God of all creations of the multiverses. Now, when I started reading that, I started thinking, has somebody sent me, a chat GPT constructed document that references a lot of Marvel stuff? Because, I'm seeing a lot of Marvel names and imagery and multiverse stuff. So I started questioning it, but all I suggest, dear friends, is read on. Go and download this document. There is a link in the description of this video, or just go to VoFHQ.com. And I think it's about the third or the fourth menu item across the top of the page. It's called Criminal Trial. Click on it. You can read it there, or you can download it, print it out yourself. It's 217 pages. And I don't have enough time this week to read it, given that I'm going away. And I'm really keen to talk more about this document. So I know there are a lot of you that watch the show that are very interested in research, and I would be indebted to you for your help. I need your help to get through this, so that we can get through it in a timely fashion, and at least understand a little more about it. I don't know if that's maybe something we should team up to do in sections and that kind of thing. I mean, there is just so much here to cover. So this entire piece here, I haven't read it all. I did read part of it, but it is really establishing the credentials for the court, where they sit with God, obviously. Great glossary of terms. The accused, defendants, and enemies are defined as, but they are named broadly, as some are specifically, but they are named broadly. So it's not just the ones that are named, it's anybody associated with them who has worked in any way to get through there. We are getting definitions here. So definitions: a person, according to the defendant's meaning of the language and the law, is a legal fiction or corporation, which are viewed as a dead entity. Therefore, where applicable, this legal team will use the words man or woman, he or she, him or her, or your people. Legal fiction is a fact assumed or created by the NP3D courts, which is then used in order to help reach a decision or to apply a legal rule. It is a dead entity. An artificial person. So these are definitions for the purpose of prosecution. So when they're referring to an adult or an entity or the cabal, you know that they are referring to anybody who is known as a black hat, or the term used for black hats, used to describe leaders who work alongside the Orion Alliance. So they're not just saying any nasty person. You have to work alongside the Orion Alliance and the Draco Empire and Lucifer et al., the Jesuits, the three popes. So all of those, they're all, the cabal are neatly defined there. And then there's this mob who, until I saw this document, I'd never heard of. Have you heard anything about the Negative Alien Archon group? The Earth Alliance is referred to as the White Hats, so we understand that. The Galactic Federation of Worlds, once again, sounds like something out of Star Trek. The Andromeda Council for Council of Xena, or Xenia, highly spiritually evolved group of benevolent non-terrestrials from the Andromeda Galaxy. The Council of Seven. So if you wondered, if you're talking spiritually and you're wondering about UFOs and aliens, it's all in here, folks. It's all in this one document. I got to wonder what Chris Starseed's doing right now. Part of him would be, well, very wet, I would have thought. He will be wetting himself. It is an amazing document. So this outlines and defines who the Council of Seven are, right? That are assisting people in the Starseed program. The Q movement, the courts, the body, as described by the Webster Dictionary, as a group of individuals organized for some purpose. In this petition, reference is made to the defendants as operating as one body, and the judicial courts and laws as a legislative body. So these definitions are very important going forward. And why would I be saying very important? Well, all these normies who are going to be waking up, folks, they're going to say, they're not going to get through the courts. Everybody owns the courts. It's just how it is. They'll get off. Well, not in this court, I don't think. This court is run by very, very different rules. It is run by God Creator's rules, and by Lucifer's rules. It is good versus evil. And if you wondered why it's taking so long, this is it. This is entirely why it's taking so long. This informational clarification is very, very, very informative. I stumbled across or read this earlier. This will define for you admiralty or maritime law, which is what we currently operate under and is illegal. Common law, while there might be some discussions about common law, this, that, and the other, this offers a definition that gives us a path forward. UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, it explains that. It explains how we do not agree to the changing of the words. We do not consent to them changing the meanings of words. Natural law, divine law. We conclude that it is in our intent that natural law encompasses eternal and divine law, unity logos et al., which includes historical laws of Scripture that use compassion, truth, and justice according to God of all creation's word and righteous rule. The inherent sovereignty of national law is important to comprehend by your people because it is an ordained birthright to life, liberty, and happiness, and an ordained nobility regarding law, nature, and purpose, and an ordained culture to form, function, and design. We agree with natural law for countries and nations that restrict and restrain any type of government from infringing on your people's God-given rights. We do not condone the use of word trickery and subliminal deceit to waive a man or woman's rights and freedoms. As a divine holy council, we concur with the basis and use of divine natural law, which is a symptom of law. A system of law based on observation of fundamental human nature and values of good and evil, right or wrong according to God Creator's word, and that is independent of NP3D laws of state and society. All people have inherent rights, conferred not by act of legislation, but by Creator God, nature, and reason. This, I believe, folks, is a very powerful document. And the children of Israel departed thence at that time, every man to his tribe and to his family. And they went out from thence, every man to his inheritance. In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right for his own eyes. Went out, did his own thing. That's what that's saying there. We come before your heavenly throne. Look, I'm not going to keep reading through this whole thing, but I suggest you guys do. Our legal team archangel, Holy Spirit, our consultant and legal advisor and teacher, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, the cloud of witnesses, including martyrs and gods, heavenly hosts, and angels. We further bring forth an expert witness, Gene Decode, who is in complete service to the one true God of all creation and his Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. I mean, in that capacity, Gene Decode brings forth knowledge received from the one true God of all creations. His education, experience, and research makes him an expert witness for impartial, independent, and unbiased evidence, as also evidenced by Gene Decode accepting the gift given by your only Son, Jesus Christ. Gene thus is in honor to this court as he has accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior and has pledged himself to absolute service. And that would generally lead to why Gene Decode's intel is so very good. We now present our intent and declarations. We decree and declare that this is a trial for truth, for this is a war between good and evil. We decree and declare that your people, each in accordance with their will, are now ready for the sound of your trumpet. We decree and declare sovereignty for all life in your creations and multiverses. We formally declare that Divine Light Holy Council and your people are free-born inhabitants under the divine principles of God Creator's laws and have the intent to use the foundation of divine natural law where contracts are honored without offense to anyone. We adhere to your word, the golden rule, and your commandments and laws. Our mandate is to maintain the unalienable rights, freedoms, and liberties of your people and see each new soul born into this existence as free. We concur with due process that the enemy's defendants are innocent until proven guilty. That's important. We concur with due process that they are innocent until proven guilty. In accordance with your judgment of sealed indictment on October 2021, this legal counsel will not be conforming to specific NP3D legal rules and format in the writing of this court case and other future cases. Our intent as intercessors is to put forth to His Most High Court petitions that are clear, informative, and specific in that they deal with any situation that, in our opinion, is in contravention of divine natural law. So if they decide that any action you have taken is in contravention to divine natural law, you will be brought before them. I don't know how much more of this you want me to go on and read, folks. What have we been going? Nearly an hour. And where are we? Page 21. I can't commend this to you enough. It is well, some might say it's really boring reading, but I find it immensely interesting. If only just for all the intel that we've all shared and had together over so many years now. And we've all wondered, how do you bring it together? How do you prosecute this? How do you do? This document shows us. Pardon me. So I highly recommend that you go and get a bit of a look at it. You can download it at VoFHQ.com. We bring forth the following laws: the criminal charges against the defendants as presented in this High Court indictment on the 20th from all locations as defined. See Addendum C. Law of unity logos. God creator's commandments and laws according to His word in Holy Scriptures. Law of one. Divine natural law. Code of moral conduct for creations. If you don't understand what we're talking about with any of this, folks, I highly recommend you go and have a look at our Magna Carta series. Fitz has spoken about quite a lot of this stuff and broken it down in great detail, and it's all there in the Magna Carta lessons. Code of moral conduct for creations. War crimes. Roman Statute of the International Criminal Court, Article 678, genocide crimes against humanity under war crimes. Biological Weapons Convention, Nuremberg Code, permissible medical experiments, Geneva Convention, inhumane treatment and banned use of chemical and biological weapons, Canadian Charter for Rights and Freedoms, Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights, the Helsinki Declaration, intermultiverses and universal space laws, laws of invasion and treaties as known by this court and unknown by us, Prime Directive, Space Wardens, Jupiter Ganymede Convention, the Jupiter Ganymede Convention, agreements now called the Artemis Accords. Oh, roger that. Lunar operations, criminal acts of crimes as listed, NP3D Earth, premeditated, Law of War Manual, the US Law of War Manual. Isn't that weird? I've just got an email telling me that Voice of Freedom has just gone live an hour ago. We acknowledge that the Creator God's laws, including the law of one and natural laws, supersede all other laws listed. Important once again. So when these whinging bastards come to us and say, they've just started a new court. No, they haven't. They acknowledge the Creator God's laws, including the law of one and natural laws. And these supersede all other laws listed. That includes the ones that our bastard politicians have written in to protect themselves. We ask that most High Court add all universal laws as known by you and unknown by us to be included in the crimes listed for this trial. So this would indicate that if the court has access to multiverse information or other deeds done by this person that we, your people, do not know about, that can be included in this case. Jurisdictions and contractual agreements made by the NP3D Code Conventions and Statutes as written by Addendum C to regulate and enforce crimes were made in part by the defendants of this case. Therefore, we submit that all these laws be placed under advisement by this court, and the intent of right and wrong in accordance with divine and natural law be implemented within their language. That's important too, because remember, words mean things, right? They've changed the meaning of words. We think nice means, nice. Go and have a look at the etymology of the word nice. You won't call somebody nice again if you don't want to insult them. We ask that all authority over governance of any breaches of any conventions, codes, laws, and jurisdictions, including space agreements, accords, directives, and treaties within the universe on and from all locations as defined, be adjudicated only by this High Court. Now, we've talked about Earth being flat. We've talked about Earth being round. We've talked about aliens a bit. We haven't really talked about how long there may well have been alien involvement on the Earth or extraterrestrial involvement on the Earth. This sort of indicates a bloody long time, and they're going back, right back to where this crime was started by looking at this. So here's the opening statement. I'm going to leave it at page 23, folks, because I could sit here and just keep reading and not have a voice for the next week. But I would, if you are a reader and you want to have a bit of intel that you've really got to want to read, this is research. But I haven't the time at the moment, given where I'm going, and won't even have internet coverage, so I won't even be able to. I'm very keen to get people across this. Maybe Camillo, I know you like reading a lot about this sort of stuff and laws and whatnot. I think you'll find this very interesting. Be interested in your opinion there. And as you can see, I'll scroll down into here. There's Addendum A. We've got to get down to Addendum C before we get to anything juicy, I think. This will give you an entire history, if you like, of creation. It is quite extensive. So dates and some information listed below have been researched by the Divine Holy Light Council to the best of our ability with the use of printed material and the internet. We know that history has been severely tampered with by the defendants, and we have found some contrasting information to our research. We've called on our witnesses for clarification. We do, however, ask that this court make any changes, additions, and corrections to all information to ensure complete accuracy for this trial, so only the highest timeline is achieved and maintained. We thank you for this assistance. Folks, go and read this. This is the history that they would, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Time of the Garden of Edens. And this is laid out as, well, this is when your people started. Lucifer was given charge of all those that fell with him. Satan claims reptilian Draco bloodline of Cain. Earth was invaded several times by hostile aliens. Black Sun program. Ever wanted to learn about that? There's tons in here about that. Then 445,327 years ago, the Anunnaki brought here as slaves by the Draco to the Mesopotamian region of Africa to mine gold, arrived on Earth masquerading as gods and authority of the people. At the same time as the above, on Earth, the war of Gilgamesh between Atlantis and Lemuria began. That moved land masses, and the surface of the Earth was broken into the tectonic plates that we have today. The Dracos slammed their airships into the ice sheet causing a wall of water that caused the extinction event. 10,895 BC, Noah's Ark and the flood of the earth. Well, folks, I reckon that's a pretty interesting read. I wish I had it for you. Oh, nearly removed myself. I wish I had this for you for the long weekend. It's been a long weekend for those of you who aren't in Queensland. Folks, I can't tell you. You have to get into this. You've got to get in and read this, right? It lays it out 100%. Everything we've been looking at for the last, well, as long as I've been doing it, 3 or 4 years. And it lays it out in a very logical, if not almost at times difficult to comprehend way. But if you have an open mind, you believe that extraterrestrials are possible, and the shape of the earth at this juncture point really doesn't matter. We're more interested in finding out about aliens on the earth, what they're doing to our children, and who the people are that are prosecuting this, who the angels are that are prosecuting this. And as you will see in the documentation, I sort of skipped over it at the start, but as you'll see, it's also ordained in this document at the top that we will see these courts. As soon as the High Court decides it's time, we will see these courts. So these trials have already happened, and I think continue to happen. But here is, the short history of the world. Can I say that? I commend it to you folks as something to read, something to research, something to give consideration and thought to. I would caution you on believing everything that comes out of it, but I caution everybody on doing that. Do your own research. If it resonates with you, and that's what I'm telling you it does with me, I'm finding a lot of what I'm reading in it resonates deeply with me as truth. And I can't disprove much of it, except this little bit here about Magna Carta 1215, which I sort of do agree with and sort of don't agree. I mean, I agree with everything except maybe the last little bit where they talk about amending Magna Carta 1215 and reissuing it in 1216. That never happened. Never happened. So that's the only thing I've found so far that I can definitely say didn't happen. I mean, they tried. That was part of the fraud, but it was never reissued. And we don't even today run under a Magna Carta 1216 or 1217. We most governance, including ours, runs under 1297. Which is well past the fraud. They'd already got that well engaged. So this is the establishment of the Crown Empire in the city of London in 1220. Interestingly, not long after John had died, the guy who'd signed the thing. I'm pretty sure he died by that stage. Parliament of Great Britain, 13 AD, the use of the word delivery started at this time. Delivery is a form of Old French relating to childbirth, an act of giving or transferring the newborn baby from the doctor to another and verbally acknowledging the act. In 1712 AD, the use of the word doctor as a noun means to treat as a doctor, administer medical treatment to, and as receiving a baby from a woman at birth. Then in 1774, as a verb, doctor came into use, meaning to alter, disguise for the purpose of deception, to falsify, and came to mean to doctor the paperwork involved. So legally, the doctor accepts the commodity. This is trickery of words. Told you, folks, words mean things. This is an amazing document. Please, folks, go and have a look at it. VoFHQ.com is the place to do it. And while you're there, if you haven't already done so, please join us, be a member. You can do it from as little as $1.25 a week, or maybe that's not up for you. Maybe you just prefer to donate. Well, we can certainly use it. And if that's what you choose to do, thank you very much, and God bless you for it. The members, though, are going to get a chance to pick up some silver soon. Vince and I have just been, Vince particularly because he's doing most of the work on this, and obviously he's pretty busy with his own things at times. We just got to get all the paperwork in order and signed and dotted and T's crossed so that we can advertise the thing and tell you that you can win some silver and then give it to you without going to court or jail or anywhere else the bastards would have us go these days. So, yeah. Oh, look, thank you, folks, for your stickers. Sandy, God love you, woman. I hope you and Big Baz are doing all right down there, and my love to the donkeys. And Shari, thank you very much, and God love you, Sunflower. Don't know what I'd do without you. You know, you've kept me alive some weeks, you have. You've no idea. So thank you. You, all of you, mean a great deal to me, and I'm touched every time I meet one of you, and we wind up having a conversation, and inevitably it goes long because I can't stop talking, and I love meeting people. So if you like meeting people and you'd like to meet me and John Wilson, that is, well, get ready. Road trip ahoy. John wants to go fishing. He's bringing a fishing rod. Gympie, don't know what we're going to catch in Gympie. Gold, maybe. Childers, we'd love to come to Childers and check out the crew there. Bundaberg too, around Bundy. So Childers, Bundy, Harvey Bay, potentially we could stop in there too. I guess we could do breakfast in one place, lunch in another, and dinner in somewhere else. That's sort of where we're thinking we might be able to do. Proserpine, Airlie Beach, Townsville, Ingham, Cairns, Cooktown, Tolby, Mareeba. Hadn't really thought there is some potential we could come back down inland, but I think John probably wants to stick closer to the rivers and where the fish might be, just in case his back gets sore while we're driving or something when he has to pull over. At any rate, if you're interested in having us pop by, maybe you've got a My Place that you'd like us to come and see. We'd love to come and see your place if you've got a My Place, or if you want a bit of help setting one of those up, then you can go to myplaceaustralia.org. I saw yesterday news.com.au put another flogger of an article out against My Place. They just basically rehashed the bullshit that went on with the ABC hack piece. Can I say thank you very much to news.com.au staff writers. They never put a real name to it, the bastards. But all you do is elicit more people coming to join My Place, more inquiry, because everybody can see, and anybody who's ever had a taste of My Place knows it's a good thing. You can try and taint it any way you like. But when you go to a My Place, you are only going to find love. You're only going to find education and understanding. You're only going to find wisdom. You're only going to find encouragement. You're only going to find new ideas, exciting ways to help and build community and keep us safe. You're not going to find any threatening group gearing up in the background to take on the armies of the world. You're not. It's not what it's about. Nothing like it. We are a community. And Facebook like to think they're a community. Well, they don't build anything in Facebook. They take. You get to build what you like, but they take. Well, I can tell you with My Place, it's all about building community. Unity through community. That's how that works. And I can't commend getting a My Place into your area enough, folks. It is a marvelous way of bringing people together. And yes, of course, there will be different ideas. Of course, there will be those people who come in and are divisive, all right, who aren't there for the right reasons. But that's part of our journey here, folks. We have to learn how to deal with those folks, either convince them to come over our side or just say, well, it's not for you. But you're not welcome to come here and be a disturbing influence, you know, shouting crap. Because if we went and did it at your little gathering, you'd have the police there. Oh, they've done an awful thing. Well, go to a My Place, go with an open mind. If you are inclined to say, oh, they're all a bunch of bloody mad, raven, bloody loony thugs, go to a My Place. Pick one, anyone. You will find nothing but love, education, unity, willingness to learn, willingness to grow, willingness to work with each other to make us all better. A unified solution, something for all of us, or your people, as referred to in that document tonight. So My Places, you'll get the favoritism as we head up the coast, but I understand not every day a My Place can be open. But like I say, we will stop and do breakfasts somewhere, or do lunch in another town, or do dinner in another town, and do little chats there. I'll do shows as we go along the road. They, will be what they are. John will hold court too, no doubt, and the locals will get a bit of a chat. So we will hopefully be able to get that happening with you folks. We'd love to see you. I know John's very excited. He's got a lot of friends up in North Queensland that he's looking forward to seeing again after quite a few years. He hasn't been back up there for a number of years. I know he did go to Cooktown some years ago, and I did see him today. I forgot to ask him whether or not he remembers any of the names or the folks from people up there, because there's a lot of old fishing families up in Cooktown. And, well, I have an old fisherman. He's very keen to go out fishing. But we'll figure out something when we get there, no doubt. I'm just looking forward to learning a lot more about the history of Cooktown. In fact, Rhonda has sent me, can I just say, I'm dropping things, hang on. Rhonda in Cooktown has just sent me recently this, I'll try and hold it where you can see it. It's a book on Cape York Peninsula. And I can tell you, I mean, some of the pictures in here are absolutely to die for. Such beautiful parts. I'm trying to get the light so it works. Sorry. Doesn't work well with the green screen. Anyway, Cape York Peninsula, a marvelous part of the world. And they got a bit coming up. In June, a big weekend is happening in June, 16th of June, Friday, the 16th of June. It is the Reconciliation Reenactment that's happening in Cooktown, 5:30. It's only a small cast. Marines gunfire at Lions Park. Saturday, it's a big weekend in Cooktown. Saturday, the 17th of June, a grand parade. And on the 18th of June, a full reenactment at Bicentennial Park in the morning. So that's they haven't had one. I don't think last year they had one because of the spicy cough or something else, and obviously a few years before that too. So thank you so much, Rhonda, for that book. My God, it is just some amazing pictures, and amazing what you can do with a drone for imagery. Just simply spectacular. So looking forward to coming back up north again. I'm heading up on Wednesday morning. I'll throw a couple of videos up along the way through Wednesday while I still have phone service, and then after that it might be Saturday, it might even be Sunday morning again before you hear from me. I apologize for that break in transmission, but if I do get a mobile phone service from somewhere, I will pop up on the Nun 2K channel. If I can get the Rumble end of it working, I'll do that too. But the Nun 2K channel on YouTube will get those updates from Wednesday morning. If you watch Voice of Freedom or Voice of Freedom or any of the Facebook channels, Wake Up, or my Facebook page or whatever, you won't see those updates on there. It will only be on the YouTube Nun 2K channel, and I will figure out the Rumble channel, so I'll do something to there as well. But yeah, that's the deal for tonight, folks. I hope you've enjoyed that document. I think that there is a lot in that for all of us. We just need to read it, understand it, and I think once we understand it, the how of what's coming, what the our awakening will be, the how will be much clearer after we've seen this and read this document. I can't verify it at the moment that it's come from anywhere other than a fevered imagination. But I tell you what, if it is a fevered imagination, it's probably an imagination I can support at this stage with much of what I've read of it. And I haven't read I wouldn't have read 100 pages out of it. I have scanned it and seen different bits of it, but I commend it to you folks. Please go and download it and read it, and then get back to me. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. I think it potentially is a key document. Have yourself a lovely evening, what's left of it, and I'll be back again tomorrow night, and we'll do something very early on Wednesday morning as well. So look forward to talking to you then. Hopefully tomorrow night. Hopefully, I haven't spoken to David Cole since last week, so hopefully we'll have him. Potentially a couple of guests he's arranging, and Darren Bergworth was looking forward to coming on, having a chat, and I was going to try and get a hold of Arnie Glenda, so I'll need to see if she's available and can pop on tomorrow night and have a bit of a chat about The Voice, and certainly why nobody should be voting yes to it. Well, only the dickheads on the roads.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all... You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's